How do people know that you follow Jesus? How did Jesus say everyone would know that you are a disciple? Jesus said, love each other. Good morning and welcome to 755 Live. For about 5 minutes, you'll hear all about easy to remember soundbite versions of what Jesus said. And the point is to help you experience life to the fullest, the Jesus way. Today's Jesus said comes from John 13, 34 through 35. And so we'll begin by reading that. Verse 34, I give you a new commandment, to love one another. Just as I have loved you, you also are to love one another. Everyone will know by this that you are my disciples, if you have love for one another. Now, as we unpack this a little bit, it's interesting that Jesus said this was a new command, a new commandment I give you. Actually, the command to love one another is in the New Testament at least 16 times. And it really seems so simple. Why was this new to the disciples? Jesus said that the most important command was to love God with everything and to love your neighbor as yourself. So why would he give this new commandment? Well, Jesus said, this is how everyone will know that you are my disciples, by your love one for another. But he amplified it even more to define what that love looks like. This was the new part of the commandment. As I have loved you, you are to love one another. Well, how did Jesus love? Well, consider for a minute how Jesus loved Judas, who would betray him. How did Jesus love Simon Peter, who would deny him and walk away? How did Jesus love Thomas, who doubted him? Jesus said, love one another as I have loved you. So the new part of this commandment was loving the Jesus way, not our own way. And it's important to realize that Jesus said, by this you will be known as my disciples. Now, the way that many disciples act today, you would think that Jesus commanded us to compare ourselves to one another, or that we would be known as his disciples by our condemnation of each other, or by our condemnation of the world, or that we would be known as his disciples by dividing into groups of different beliefs and saying that everyone else is wrong, or by calling our enemies names and pointing out how stupid everyone else is. And do we wonder why the world thinks we don't have anything to offer? Could it be that we're not doing the simple things that Jesus said? Just think about this. If we aren't known by our love for each other, how can those outside of our circle think we could possibly love them? Jesus talked about the end times in Matthew 24, and he said that this would be a sign of the end times. He said that in Matthew 24, verse 10, he said, then many will be led into sin, and they will betray one another and hate one another. We can definitely see evidence of that. And many false prophets will appear and deceive many. We see that. And because lawlessness will increase so much, the love of many will grow cold. And I think that we see that as well. And then he says that the person who endures to the end will be saved. And this gospel, this good news of the kingdom will be preached throughout the whole inhabited earth as a testimony to all the nations. And then the end will come. We can't claim to have the good news about the kingdom, and we can't spread the good news if we don't even show the most basic example that Jesus gave us As proof, we are his disciples. Jesus said, "By this you will be known, by your love for each other." Jesus said, "Love each other just as I have loved you." How can you put that into action today? Thank you so much for listening to the Jesus Said this morning. If this is meaningful to you, it means a lot if you like it, if you share it, and if you comment. I really appreciate you, appreciate all of the support. And I hope that you have an amazing day. And I hope this time together has helped you live life to the fullest, the Jesus way. And remember to follow Jesus today. Love first.